What's going on, Kings? Back with another video. Hope everybody had a good day, good productive day. I just finished work myself, and so thought I would just come on here and record another video, just a thought that was on my mind. And so the topic for today's video is there's power in the tongue. So this is a saying or a phrase that you may be familiar with. I know growing up, my mother used to say it quite a bit. And the whole idea behind it is that, basically reminding people, particularly children, to be careful what you say, number one, about other people, but also to be careful what you say about yourself, because a lot of times, we can become our own worst critic in life. And so my mother used to say it a lot growing up. If one of us was being negative, she would say, there's power in the tongue, and just to kind of remind us of that. And so what really brought this onto my mind, I guess you could say, was a couple days ago. So I'm in a run group here in the city. And so all of us are in a big group me. And so people, will go in the group me and post about the run club, or also post about different events that are happening in the city. Or if somebody's, I don't know, looking for a roommate, they'll post it in there. So anyway, we have one of the channels that we have for the run club is like a community channel where anyone can kind of post anything. And a guy last week posted, he basically just posted about how, he didn't have any friends and how he was lonely and how, no woman wants him, and just really venting in the channel. And he did this multiple times a day over a period of a couple of days. And so eventually I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I didn't know him, but, I was like, hey, if you want to talk, or, feel free to shoot, respond. And if you, want to talk, or, whatever, if so he ended up doing that. And so when I responded, like, hey, hey man, hey bro, just checking, everything good, what's going on? You doing okay? And he went into, was just bashing himself, just about how, he felt he was ugly, and that, no woman is ever going to want him. And, he's never had a girlfriend, and, he doesn't have any friends, and just really was really bashing himself to me. And, I listened to him, and I, tried to offer encouragement, where I could. But after we were finished speaking, it really made me think that, like, wow, we really do that. Like, this guy is really bashing himself hard, like he's saying things about himself worse than probably someone that doesn't like him would say about him. And it just really made me think that we really have to be careful, the, I guess, inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. Because like in this guy's case, it's like, if you feel this way about yourself, like if you feel like you're ugly, you feel like, why would any woman want to be with me? What do I have to offer? If you feel that way about yourself, why would she want to be with you? Like, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect her to? And so I say that story to kind of encourage you guys, if you have that same, if that's something that you struggle with. I know that it's something that, self-deprecation is something that I do, because a lot of people don't know this, but I'm from England. I was born in England. And so British people have a tendency to be very self-deprecating. So I tend to do that. But I have to be careful, because sometimes self-deprecation can, like, somewhat lead to you talking negatively about yourself. So, I have to kind of check myself, when it comes to that. And so I would encourage you guys, if negative self-talk is something that you struggle with, I would encourage you to really catch yourself in the moment. And, if you're going to have an inner monologue or an inner dialogue, why not make it be positive things? Why not have it be the things you like about yourself, as opposed to your shortcomings? And I think for men, this is particularly hard, because I think in our society, men I think a lot of the media focused around men nowadays tends to be very negative. And so I think that plays a part into why a lot of men, particularly young men, struggle with this. And I would just encourage you to, really be cognizant of that. If you're gonna, you need to really, there's no way you can expect a woman to love you if you don't love yourself. You have to love yourself before anyone can love you, and I truly believe that. And I also think what's made it even worse in today's day and age is I think social media plays a part a little bit because, whereas maybe, 30, 40 years ago, you only compared yourself with maybe your neighbors or the occasional celebrity. Now you have, Instagram and TikTok or whatever. So you compare yourself to the entire world and, you're looking at what everyone else is doing, and that makes you feel bad about yourself because you don't have what they have, not knowing that that person compares themselves to somebody else and that person compares themselves to somebody else. And we just kind of get into like this vicious cycle. And so that would be my call and challenge to you guys is, really, we all do it. It's something that we all struggle with. I think it's just part of being human, negative self-talk. But try to limit the amount of negative self-talk and try to, incorporate more positive self-talk about yourself in there. If on an even deeper level, as Christians as well, like, remember you are a child of God. And that means something. So, before anything else, before the world tells you what you're not, remember that, you are a child of the King. And so, take pride in that. And I think that'll help a lot with anyone who struggles with negative self-talk. And so I wanted to, leave you guys with the Bible verse that really kind of ties into this. And it's going to be in the book of Proverbs. It's going to be Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21, which says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." And that really resonates with me because it really just, again, really ties into the idea that, there is power in the tongue. So we need to be careful what we say about other people and also what we say about ourselves. And I think in my last video, I mentioned the book, The Four Agreements. And, the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And in the book, he talks about that, to misuse of the word, he calls it black magic, And so, you can kind of think, and when he's talking about misuse of the word, he means misuse of the word, again, towards other people and also to yourself as well. And so that would just be my call to action for you guys. Really try to limit the amount of negative self-talk this week. If you find that that's something you do a lot, catch yourself in the moment, even if you have to develop sort of a morning routine or a morning affirmation routine where you list off all the things you like about yourself, maybe on your phone, maybe open up a notepad and list one by one the great qualities about yourself, because we all have great qualities. Like, we're human, so yeah, we have negative aspects, but we all have great qualities. Whether, a lot of times it just takes us writing them down. And after a while, you'll see like, wow, okay, these are some great things about myself. And maybe every morning you look at those and you read through them just to kind of get your day started before you hit the world. Because I get it, like, there's a lot of negativity in the world. And so it doesn't surprise me that people have this problem, but I think it's something that we can do our best to mitigate, the best that we can. And so, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Is this something that you struggle with? And, or do you know someone that maybe struggles with negative self-talk? Maybe share this video with them. But, let's try to, maybe for this week, let's try to remember that there's power in the tongue, and let's try to be a bit more positive in general, but definitely a bit more positive about ourselves. And so with that, I'll like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.